Chosen Identity Crisis, Part 2. God didn't sign that deal. They said God gave them the land. They said they're the chosen people. But when you check the paperwork, God didn't sign that deal. Man did. And now the world is worshipping a contract forged in colonial ink and sealed with stolen identity. This is Chosen Identity Crisis, Part 2. Who wrote the contract? Let's get one thing straight. If God gave you land, why did a British politician have to put it in writing? In 1917, the Balfour Declaration was signed, not by a prophet, not by a priest, not even by a scribe of scripture, but by Lord Arthur Balfour, a British colonial politician. And that one signature became the modern excuse for Israel's existence. They called it fulfilling prophecy. I call it white men playing God on stolen land. Let me ask you, when did God hold a press conference with the United Nations? When did Yahweh sit down with President Truman and say, yes, let them have it back? The Holy Land was turned into a political bribe dressed in divine language. But the divine never spoke. The holy scam. The Bible got used like a deed, a real estate license, a power of attorney for God. But if you look closely, every so-called biblical claim to land or title came with a human fingerprint. The people who scream, God gave us this land, are holding maps made by colonizers, documents signed by monarchs, and flags raised by militaries. God didn't write a land grant. God didn't assign a passport. God didn't create Zionism. Man did. And religion? It was the weapon. It was the wrapping paper to sell the lie. They gift-wrapped land theft in Scripture, and dared anyone to open it without being labeled anti-Semitic or anti-God. White power in a holy cloak. Let's talk about who benefited. Ashkenazi Jews, European descendants, were handed the modern state of Israel. Not by Moses, not by any burning bush, but by the League of Nations, the British Empire, and the U.S. government. They claim to be the chosen people. But if chosen means military-backed, government-approved, and media-protected, then yeah, they were chosen. Meanwhile, the original black Hebrews, the ones who actually trace back to the land through oral tradition, ancient migration, and spiritual lineage, were labeled everything except chosen, slaves, outcasts, cursed. They lost land, name, language, and identity, because white power rewrote the narrative in their own image. The DNA of the lie. We're told to stand with Israel, but do we even know who Israel is? Let's be clear. Ashkenazi equals Eastern Europe, not ancient Canaan. Khazar equals converted royalty, not descendants of Jacob. Zionism equals political ideology, not spiritual truth. They trace their return to documents and declarations, while the true Hebrews trace their exile through chains and colonization. How does one group get resettlement aid and a homeland, while the other gets prison cells and eviction notices? Because one was politically manufactured while the other was spiritually erased. Where's God in this? Here's the real question. If all of this was God's plan, why did it need so much human help? Why? Was the Promised Land delivered through tanks and treaties? Did God's chosen need nuclear weapons and American funding? Is oppression okay as long as it wears a yarmulke? They tell you don't question it, it's biblical. But I'm telling you it's criminal. And God isn't co-signing their scam. This isn't divine inheritance, it's identity theft. This isn't prophecy, it's paperwork and propaganda. This isn't God's will, it's man's manipulation. So next time someone says we're chosen, ask to see the signature. Not from the UN, not from the British, from God. Until then, remember, you don't need to be written into their script to be divine. You don't need their approval to reclaim you.